And we are going live on YouTube. Hi, everyone. My name is Lori Black. I'm the Associate Director of the Lowell Milken Center for Music of American Jewish Experience here at the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music. And we are incredibly excited to continue our series
and we are going live
Klezmer
on
workshops. Oh,
Hi,
no,
everyone.
We're getting some,
My name is...
There we go. We'll mute that. We are very blessed to be able to have these series of workshops that are funded by both the Milken Center, the Katz Endowment, the Katz Endowed Chair, and of course, the David Victor Foundation, who I believe our dear friend Fran Feynman is here today, as always, to support our programs. We do have some other wonderful programs coming up. I encourage all of you to attend a fascinating program around the film recently released called Song Searcher. For those of you that aren't familiar, Song Searcher is a wonderful film that explores the incredibly important contributions of Moshe Beregovsky, who much of our klezmer repertoire that we go through today is from the work that Beregovsky did. In fact, our guest today actually has a cameo in it, so definitely worth checking out just for that reason alone. And then on Wednesday at 5 p.m., we will, at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be hosting a panel discussion exploring the various issues that arise in the film. I do want to point out that that we are actually screening the film early, as it deals very significantly with Ukrainian history, and we felt that it needed to get out into, I should say the filmmakers felt that it needed to get out into the world earlier. So again, please attend. We hope to have you there. And now finally, for the program you are all here for, Eleonor Biezunski serves as sound archivist in the Max and Frida Weinstein archives of YIVO recorded sound since 2016, where she has coordinated the Ruth Urban Legacy online exhibition. I can personally say that the Ruth Urban Legacy exhibition is incredible. It is an amazing resource for students, for lovers of klezmer. Everyone should take a look at it. She is also a member of the Klezmer Institute's KMDMP and Klezmer Archive Project. She has a PhD from the École de Haute Études in Sciences Sociales in Paris, and holds an MA in Urban Geography from the University of Paris, Aix-Nanterre. Forgive me if I mispronounce that. She has published several book chapters and articles on the history of Yiddish music and culture, and co-edited in 2015 a 6 CD set reissue of historical recordings of the Ellis Disc label from 1948 to 1953 from the European Institute for Jewish Music in Paris. As a singer and violinist, she has led several projects and collaborated with a large number of well-known performers of Jewish music here and abroad. Her song Chemoden was, again, forgive me if I mispronounce that, was awarded Best New Yiddish Song at the Bubby Awards in 2021. She is a recipient of NYSCA's Folk Arts Apprenticeship. Her recordings include Yerusha, drawing from Yiddish music archives such as the Ruth Urban and Beregovsky and Kisselgoff collections, and Zol Zayin. If you are, everyone should take a look at her website at www.eleonorbiezunski.com. And I can't say this enough, that it's just so wonderful to have somebody who is a wonderful person, wonderful musician, wonderful scholar here to join us today and really take us through some amazing repertoire. So everybody, Eleonor Biezunski. Doctor, forgive me.
It's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm very, very glad to be able to share some music with you and teach you. I prepared some songs and instrumental tunes as well. So whoever feels comfortable having their camera on, it's really great to see you and see how you react to the teaching so that I can adjust it to you. But it's okay if you don't feel like having it on too. So I want to start sharing actually a song from the Ruth Urban collection specifically. And so it's a love song of spring, which I thought was appropriate for this time of the year. But I think this song is pretty appropriate to any time because it's so beautiful. And so what you're seeing now is the Ruth Urban Legacy website, and here's the homepage of it, and so it's a website dedicated to Ruth Urban. It has information about her. It has the core of the collection are those field recordings here that you can access through different ways, and you get different types of information. You can listen to all the digitized files, lectures that she gave, etc. Some documents. There is a documentary about her that is also here. That's very interesting to see how she collected songs. So just to give you a little bit of background about Ruth Urban, she was born in 1906, and she grew up in Montreal and moved to New York when she was around 18 as a young Yiddish poet. And then she moved on to study psychology, and then later started to study folklore and collect Yiddish folk songs. So she started collecting the post-war years around 1947, and then collected throughout the late 70s. Yeah, there's references and all that. But so we'll go straight to the matter and listen to her recording of Anna Berkowitz, one of her informants, singing the song. It's called Kumarois zu mir mein Liebste. And so on the website, sometimes we have added a scan of a manuscript from a transcription, or sometimes a printed, and sometimes we've added the lyrics too. It's the case for this song. It's not always the case, but so I'll show it to you as we listen, and then we can learn how to sing it.
Kumarois zu mir, mein Liebste, Kumarois, Kumarois, bring dir fahr dir gute Pschure, fahr bei mein Haus, sprotzen blien, schön die Blumen, ach wie schön, komm, gelo mir beide gehen. Von frühmorgen bei der Tirsche, heimon, frische Kille, stille Windlach, heimon, still zu kuschen die Mesuse von mein Haus, komm, je liebste, komm, Marois, Gott genau der ist,
Start that first again, then we can edit it.
Gott genau der kommt zu fliehen, oi verstrahl, und singen mit die Ton, jeder Qual, als der Frühling ist gekommen, sagen sie, Kaschenblimmer seinen weiß wie Schnee.
So, as you can hear, it's a field recording from a non-professional singer. I mean, she was an excellent singer, but non-professional. So she makes a little mistake, and then Ruth Urban says, keep going, we'll edit this. Well, we just left it this way because this is how field recordings are also. And so we can, okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this and start sharing the lyrics sheet that I have here so that we can all follow together. Let's see how I'm doing this. It is here. Okay. So, can you see well? Yeah, okay, great. So, let me move this here. Yes. Kumarois zu mir mein Liebste. So I, can you still see?
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna, I moved it and then, okay, I'm gonna stop the share and start again. So sorry. I'm not seeing what I want to see. Okay, so sorry, the techniques of our times. Right? So, okay, we'll do it again. Is it working again now? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, Kumarois zu mir, mein Liebste. So let's do, okay, let's go through the translation first, and then we can learn the lyrics. So, Kumarois zu mir, mein Liebste, come out to me, my love. Come out, Kumarois. Ich breng far dir a gute Psure. I bring you good news. Bei mein Haus, at my house. Sprotzen blien, schön die Blumen. Beautiful flowers sprout and bloom. Ach wie schön, oh how beautiful. Komm je lomir beide gehen. Come on, let's go together. Von frühmorgen bei der Tierge, in the morning at the door. Heben on. Begin. Frische Kille, stille Windler. Fresh, cool, quiet little winds. Begin. Heben on. Still zu kuschen die Mezuse. Calmly kissing the Mezuse. Von mein Haus. Of my house. Komm je liebste Kumarois. Come on, my love, come out. God's Gnade kommt zu fliehen. The grace of God comes flying. Oi verstrahl. On a ray. Und es singen mit die Tollen. And every source sings with the valleys. Jeder Qual. Every source, as der Frühling is gekommen, that spring has arrived. Sagen sie, they say. Karschen Blimlech seinen weiß wie Schnee. The cherry blossoms are as white as snow. Anyone has questions so far? Is the pace all right? Okay. Great. So I'll sing line by line, or maybe let's do it maybe without the melody first, just to get the words into our mouth, and then we'll learn it with the melody. But I'll keep the rhythm of the words, so that it will fit the melody. Kumaroi zu mir, mein Liebste. Kumarois zu mir, mein Liebste. Kumarois. Ich breng far dir a gute Psure. Bei mein Haus. Sprotzen blien, schön die Blumen. Ach wie schön. Komm, je mir beide gehen. So maybe a couple of remarks about the transliteration, if you're following the transliteration. When you see KH, the sound is ch, a guttural sound. It's not k, it's ch. The U is always u. And ZH is j. And also, when there is, where is it in this? For example, sprotzen, if you see that there is no vowels in the transliteration, it means there actually is no vowels. So you have to make it work inside your mouth. Sprotzen. And so this last N, like in the next verse, von frühmorgen, it's inside the mouth, the sound of the N. It can be like also like a closed mouth M. Frühmorgen. Some people say it like that. I really try to have the N resonate inside, and it's really nice to sing on these sounds. Actually, it's very. I think it's one of the characteristics of Yiddish songs that makes it so special. So, von Frühmorgen bei der Tierje. That's the next verse. But just to say the sound is important. When there is no E, it means it's not N, it's N. And sometimes it's, for example, the word fliehen is really 2 syllables, fliehen. So, the E is always E. So, yeah, that's the few little remarks regarding pronunciation. And if you have any questions, feel free to, raise your hand or interject. And I'm gonna try to look at the text too. So let's look at the second verse. Maybe we can add the melody to the first verse, and then we can also learn the rest of the song with the melody. So let's go back to the top, and I'll sing first, and you repeat each line. So. Komm heraus zu mir, mein Liebste. Komm heraus zu mir, mein Liebste. Komm heraus, komm heraus. Komm heraus, komm heraus. Ich bring für dir a gute Bsure. Ich bring für dir a gute Bsure. Bei mein Haus, bei mein Haus, bei mein Haus, bei mein Haus. Sprotzen bliehen Sprotzen bliehen schön die Blumen. Sprotzen bliehen schön die Blumen. Ach wie schön, ach wie schön. Komm, gelo mich beide gehen. Komm, gelo mir beide gehen. So let's sing this first verse together. Komm heraus zu mir, mein Liebste, komm heraus, komm heraus. Ich bring für dir a gute Bsure bei mein Haus, bei mein Haus. Sprotzen blühen schön die Blumen, ach wie schön, ach wie schön. Komm, gelo mir beide gehen. So that's any question so far? So another little notion I would like to introduce that is from songwriter and folk singer Joshua Letsky. He likes to talk about the songs in terms of how to sing them, and it's very obvious and nice to have in mind with this particular song. He talks about how the songs can be in the same song be zogevdik, tansevdik, and zingevdik, which means zogevdik means speaking, like talking. So it's very close to the speaking voice, and the rhythm of the phrasing is also like speaking. So it's not the music follows the rhythm of the speech and not the opposite. There is zingevdik, which is singing, so it's more lyrical. And tansevdik, which is when the tunes is more dancing. So here, komm heraus zu mir, mein Liebste, that's really speaking. Komm heraus, komm heraus, a little more singing. Ich bring für dir a gute Bsure bei mein Haus, bei mein Haus. So it starts speaking and also goes a little bit into the singing. Sprotzen blühen schön die Blumen, ach wie schön. That's singing. And then there's a pause that she does that's a little bit longer than you would expect, and that's I think that comes from the speaking quality. ach wie schön. And then goes into dancing. Komm, jelom mir beide gehen. I mean, this is my take on this with this sort of framework. So you can then have your own, and I think it can sort of moves a little bit in a fluid way through the song, but it's like a nice thing to have in mind when you approach a Yiddish song, because they often have those three qualities in them as they move along. So, okay, let's maybe try to just sing along the next two verses, because the melody I think is simple enough that we can try to do that. So let's go into the second verse. Von früh morgen bei der Kirche heben on, frische Kiele, stille Windlech heben on, still zu kuschen die Mesuse von mein Haus, komm, der Liebste, komm heraus. Gott's Gnade kommt zu fliehen, oi verstrahl, und es singen mit die Tollen, jeder Qual. Als der Frühling ist gekommen, sagen sie, karschen Blümlech seinen weiß wie Schnee. Let's repeat this last line. Karschen Blümlech seinen weiß wie Schnee. So yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but this last line is a little bit longer. It has like an extra beat or something, and that's just the beauty of folk songs, since they were right, since they were sung without any accompaniment, mostly. I mean, a lot of the time. So this is a very lovely little sort of quirk, I would say, of the song, for our Western ear. Okay, so maybe we can move on to instrumental. So if you have an instrument, it's time to pick it up. And let me see. I didn't look for the source recording for this, but I could actually pull it out if my computer allows me. Oh, I'm gonna stop this share. So I wanted to share with you instrumental tune called it's recording from Boibrike Capelier, and it's called Chsidische Iguanim. It has the recording actually has two tunes. I was thinking of doing the first one, which is a little bit slower. It's a very beautiful sort of chosidl. I'm trying to see if my YouTube will allow me to play.
Well, while you're queuing it up, I just, in response to a few questions that I've gotten in the chat and preempting a few others, for those of you that want to go back and practice the tune that you just heard, because that's how you get better at doing it, it is available on YouTube. You can click on it, because you're on Zoom right now. You could even click on the link at the top where it says live on YouTube and click copy streaming link. And if not, you can find it in our YouTube channel, the Lowell Milken Center for Music of American Jewish Experience. That was the PSA.
Thank you. Oh, okay. So, okay, I found it. So let me share my screen again. I hope the video sharing will not be too cumbersome for Zoom. It's not always what I want with sound. Yes. Okay. Can you see the YouTube page? All right, so.
No, we can't see it.
Oh, you can see it. Sorry. Okay. That's because I'm using two monitors and I know what to do, but I have to stop sharing and reshare. I'm sorry. This is taking more time than I would want.
Not a problem.
Yes, and so I think if I do this instead, it will work. Does that work?
Not yet.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. So I'll start it. Oh, I don't know what happened. So, and then it goes into a Freilers in Fränkisch. This is a tune in minor, and then it goes into Fränkisch. So I just also want to acknowledge the work of Daniel Kackner, who is responsible for this classic Klezmer YouTube channel, which is an extraordinary resource for historical recordings of klezmer music. And he indicates here that Hirschgross is the band leader and Berish Katz is on violin. Berish Katz was also actually recorded as part of the Ruth Urban collection, so there are some field recordings of him playing. And he was also a batron, so a wedding gesture. So it's very interesting repertoire that he has. So this was recorded in 1927 in New York. I just want to, okay, so when we digitized 78's recording, sometimes we come across speed issues because not all 78's recordings were actually recorded at 78 RPM. I sort of have suspicions about this disc maybe should be a little bit slower. I'm not certain of that, but so I will teach it a little bit slower anyway, but and I like it a little bit slower. I'm not sure. This is I didn't check really.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Would that account for the pitch difference between?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean between
because it's sounding roughly at about E flat minor and out of tune E flat minor, but it would actually be played in D.
That's what that's the reason why I suspect it's recorded. I mean, it's digitized a little bit faster than the 78 should be actually played at.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. So I will teach it a little bit slower. I'm going to share I think I'm actually going to teach it by ear if that's okay with everyone. And I do have a chart that I can send later. But I think it's nice to just stay with the oral tradition. So we're gonna learn it in D minor, and it starts on a D. So I'm not sure what the rhythm of learning is in the group, and I can't hear you at all. So you'll have to give me hints if it's too fast or too slow, okay? But what I would like to try to do, well, maybe we could just sing it through once together. Let's do that. Yai dai yai dai dai yai 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 dai yai dai yai dai yai Sorry, it repeats. Okay. So let's learn on the instrument bit by bit. And I'll play and you repeat. We can repeat this whole section together. Is it too fast? Is it too slow? Is it good?
Could we maybe do slightly smaller section? I'm thinking maybe just to break it down a little bit more.
A little bit more, sure. So that's setting the mode, I guess, or setting not the mode but the tone. hear the E natural becomes flat. This almost repeats from and then okay, any questions?
I'm happy to jump in with a couple of questions if that's okay.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if you wouldn't mind just talking a little, the way you phrase it at the very beginning, you do something quite remarkable, which is like, you're like really singing through the instrument. And I wonder if you could just expand on that for us for a little bit, for those of us who are either a little newer to the idea of, you know, the crossover between a vocal tradition and an instrumental tradition and where it sits. If you could just talk about what you're doing in terms of that expression, because it's so rich, you know?
Sure. Okay,
and
thank
several
you.
people have mentioned that your voice is very beautiful too.
Thank you. So that's a great question. It's a great point, and also, I don't know exactly what the background is in the group, so this is great. So the tune is called Iguanim. So the nigun means a wordless melody, and so and Chassidish means, of course, it's a Chassidic melody. And as you know, maybe Klezmer, the word Klezmer means Klezmer, which means instrument of song, vessel of song. But it has to do with instruments imitating the voice. So there is a lot of crossover between this Hasidic tradition of singing, which is a very spiritual practice in Hasidism, of course. Singing and dancing are considered a way to communicate to God or to ascend to God. So the instruments try to imitate the voice. So I do a very, very tiny slide down here to speak more technically on the instrument. So maybe not all instrument can do it, but what you can find on your instrument, no matter what the technique is, limitation, is this little sort of weight. There is a sort of a yearning here, right, from the beginning. And in the Chosidol, the first beat is a stronger beat. Not that it has to be heavy, but it has to be very grounded. So, yes. But you can even if I don't bend, right. But you can, I'm sure there's a way you can find a phrasing to it. It also like the weight, the different weight you put on the notes. And a bit of a holding back of the rhythm, I think, also. So, how about we play the parts together? Okay. Sorry, I did the intro way too fast for what I wanted to do. So, I just won't count it. I will just start with a breathing that I hope you will catch, and we will start together. And also, yeah, that's the reason why I started with teaching you how to sing it. I mean, that's why I wanted us to sing it first, because that's really how this music is felt. And it's also the reason why I'm not sharing a score right now, because I think it's better to really connect with the sound first, and then the visual can help memorize, the visual can help, fix the music in our memory, or yeah. But I think to learn it, it's really better to listen first. Okay, so let's play it. Sorry, I'm waiting. Everyone's ready? All right. Okay, so that's for the A part. Yeah? So any question, or we move on to the second section? Okay, so the second section goes to the parallel major, as it sometimes does. Yeah. So there's coming from the last measure of the A. Right? There's a little, instead of going back to the A, when it repeats, that's the only difference. The first time you play the A part, you will do a... to repeat the section, but then when you... so you will go down to the A and back to D. But when you play the second time, to go to the second section, you will do... And then we land on the F. On the F chord, but we land on a A. Sorry. Okay, that's the first measure. And even okay. Okay, and then the same motif repeats a little bit upper, well, a third up. And okay, so I'm seeing this comment. I'm happy to share the chart if it makes it easier for some people. I'm just not going to be able to control very much what you see on the chart because of Zoom. Can you see it now? I can't
No.
see. Can you see? Yeah, the problem is I can't, it's very complicated for me to navigate both right now. You know what I will do? Instead of doing that, I will share it in the chat. I will take a second to do that, and those who want to open it can do that, and whoever just wants to keep learning it by ear can do that too. Except I'm not managing to share it in the chat, so try to do that. Sorry, I didn't plan to share it now, but I get that it's better for some people. So I don't have a good solution right now how to do this. I'm sorry. I think you're gonna have to.
I think it's okay for now.
Okay. All right, so I'm sorry about this. I promise you will get it later. And you can then re-listen to this with the chart. Okay, so second section, we were around the end of it. I'm gonna play it through until where we were. And then it ends with, so that's and it's going to repeat. Second time is just first time is right to repeat. Okay, is that all right? Shall we play it through? Okay, let's play through the second section. goes to the third. So one little comment. What I find so touching and interesting in these tunes is the vocal quality is not only this spiritual connection, it's not only the music. I think it's also, there is also some narrative and almost rhetorical aspect in this music that is really also interesting to have in mind when you play it, and because it tells all sorts of story, and you can make them up, the actual stories, but there's like a lot of dialogues, and for me this tunes is questioning and then doubting and maybe being desperate about this questioning, but then finding some sort of reconnection, joy, etc. And then in the recording it's very clear it goes into a dance tune. So there is that too. But so all these expressive elements that you can imagine, that you can connect with the tunes for yourself, put it in. Yeah. So it's really there for you to connect with. So, okay, let's learn the third section. So this one is very questioning. So here we go on a C minor chord. Okay. That's the first bar that we've been repeated. Now the second bar goes. First half is the same, and second half is a little bit of an elaboration. With a little arpeggio, right? So let's play those two bars together. And then a whole octave. And it goes down the scale, or down the mode, rather. Okay, have you got it all? So. Starting on the D, on the C. And the last bar that goes into the repeat of these sections goes. Right? And it has this openness with the G at the end. And then back to the C. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So the second time it goes back down to the D. So that's the same beginning, and then instead of going, it goes. All right, so. the last measure. All right. Are we ready to play the whole tune through? Yeah, any questions before we do that? Or comments? Or I'm not really seeing the chat, so so if there's something I missed.
There's not much happening in the chat right now, but if I can ask one small question before we run through all of it is, what might we be hearing if this were playing with a band? Just what might we be hearing in our head as we're going through this?
As an accompaniment?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want me to give you some chords quickly?
We don't have to do all the chords. I just thought maybe as we're about to play through it, like what kind of patterns might be playing behind us if we were playing.
So okay, I'm messing up the chords a little bit, but like the idea is that I think the rhythmic accompaniment also very much follows the melody, but then there can be some fill-ins too, like alternative. Yes, that's yeah. I'm seeing this comment on the bass on the accordion. Yes, yeah, you can also complexify and simplify the chords in different ways, but I like it simple when it comes to those tunes, because I think also like sometimes jazz players are maybe frustrated about the lack of changes. I mean, it's not that true in this tune, but I think that it gives them emphasis in a way that, oh, this is happening in the melody and it needs this other chord, and then it opens up spaces. So I think it's a very different way of thinking about harmony also. So yeah, let's play it through. Awesome. Sorry, I'm bad at this. 3, 4. All right. I hope everyone is feeling okay and not too lost because of not having a chat. It's true, it's harder to learn it this way. So, I mean, especially for, yes, I think it's very beautiful. And so, yeah, again, there is, I mean, I didn't talk about ornamentation, but you may have noticed that I'm not always doing the same things. I'm also not always playing the rhythm the same. That's partly why I didn't want to share a score, because I don't want to teach this in a fixed manner. It's not fixed. There is a lot of freedom in this. It's not, klezmer music is not per se improvised music, but this is where the improvisation really is. It's those subtle rhythmic improvisations, rhythmic changes, and the way it's ornamented, and it really has to do with the story that's being told. And I'm not talking about the feeling. I'm talking about the story that's being told. The feeling comes as I see it, that's a subjective statement, but the feeling comes from receiving it and from telling the story, but it doesn't have to be injected in, it doesn't have to be put in, I don't want to say artificially, but sort of.
That's actually a really good segue to a question that I know comes up almost every one of these workshops, which is, how do you choose where to put what ornament where? And how do you use some of it? Is there maybe like one spot where you can just show us, a little bit of that would be really helpful.
Sure. So if you have the instrument that allows that, this little slide down is I think useful. I think on the recording they do trills. So you can also trill that if that's easier for you, or yeah. I'm trying to think where I'm doing it. All right, when a note repeats, like here, it can get the two first G's here. So there's these three G's, right? Between the two first of those three, a little crête can be appropriate, and then I trill on the last of the threes. It's a possible choice. So I can even trill also on the first beat of the whole bar. So, for example, and then another little bend down. And my bending, it's not I'm not going from one note to the next. I'm not doing, right? I'm just really bending very, very small. And it's enough for the sound to carry the sonic impression. So it doesn't need to be overdone. And yeah, it's really... that really is about listening to it a lot, and there is something idiomatic about it. So yeah, you really want to immerse yourself in the musical language, and also in the language. Actually, I think listening to Yiddish being spoken can help too understand some of this phrasing.
I want to open it up, if it's okay with you, Eleanor. I'd love to open it up to questions now from the group as a whole. Are there any additional questions for our fantastic teacher here, Eleonor Biezunski, who is this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are, taken us through some really fascinating songs, one vocal tune of the Ruth Urban archive, and this wonderful chassidol. I do understand. I see a few comments related to the score, and we can certainly in the future offer scores ahead of time for these. But as Eleanor so clearly said, that it does, the one issue that it does raise among this is the idea of a fixed tune, that there's a way to play it. So I appreciate that, and thank you for teaching us about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the difficulty for some people. Again, I really believe that it's really an effort, and I understand it takes a time to learn by ear. It takes more time. So this is a short workshop, and I understand maybe it's a little bit too fast for doing that, but it's really I think it's a good thing to try to take this time to go to the recording and try to learn directly from the recordings without looking at scores. Even if it takes longer, like at the beginning, it will take like 15 minutes to figure out what the first two bars are, and then little by little, this will become faster. And I think, it's a music of oral tradition. Some of it has been written down, of course, over the past century, but or a little more even. But it's really a music of oral tradition, and so it's like learning how to speak a language. And we don't start with reading; we start with listening, understanding, before we can necessarily articulate our own thoughts. And then little by little we learn words, we put phrases, it's so I don't want to infantilize, but I really think it's the way it's really a good way to learn this music, so like probably other ones too. Actually,
absolutely. And I could say that in the UCLA Klezmer ensemble, we learn almost everything by ear. So I always have to give a shameless plug that if there's anyone out there who's looking for something to do around UCLA on Wednesday nights, please join us 6 to 9 p.m.
Yes.
It is open to the community. Well, if there are no other questions, I would just like to offer one more thanks. This has been just such a wonderful workshop. And we really got into, I really appreciate all you offered us about expressivity in this last chunk here. I thought that's something that we often want to play our fast Freilich, some Bulgars, and want to have a party. And I think you really pulled that apart in such a lovely way. I do see, actually, we do have one more question. Edward Bergen, I think our resident accordionist for this for today. You have a question?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Eleonor?
Eleonor, but I also accept Eleanor to make.
Okay, Eleonor.
Sorry.
Thank you for a wonderful workshop. I just wanted to say, from my experience, I've been playing accordion for a long time, and for most of my life, I played by learning sheet music. But I've just recently, the last 2 or 3 years, I'm playing more by ear, and I found out that really opens for me more doors, because I tend not to get locked into a certain style of playing. So I agree. If it's a question of doing one or the other, I think it's better to learn by ear. Ideally, one should do both, but I agree with you.
Sure. I mean, I think once you've learned the idiom, you can learn from a score, because you will know how to interpret it in your own way, and you will know how to get away from it.
Yes.
And also, it's very useful to have scores to just remember what you know. I mean, it's the scores are very useful. I'm not also dismissing that, and I will gladly share the transcription of this tune.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Edward. Are there any other questions? All right. Well, with that, I think we can all offer one more thank you to Eleonor. I got it right that time. Forgive me. I learned something. I didn't realize I was mispronouncing your name. I feel bad.
No, you were not. I didn't notice. So.
I was saying Eleanor, and now I didn't realize Eleonor is more. Okay. Well, either way.
I'm not picky. But thank you so much for having me. This was a great pleasure. Always.
Thank you. And as always, I do have to say one last time, this has been a program of the Lowell Milken Center for Music of American Jewish Experience at the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music. And a special thank you to the David Victor Foundation and the Mickey Katz Endowed Chair in Jewish Music as well. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I do have one more thing I want to say, is that for people who are interested in Yiddish songs, Yivo has just released a whole collection of Yiddish folk song. I'm gonna share the link. It's a little bit it's very big, and it's a very like archival way to navigate. It's not as easy as the Ruth Urban website, but it's really worth looking at it. It's from it's a collection that was directed by Barbara Kirschenblatt Gimblet in the 70s, and so it's very interesting because Ruth Urban collected the songs, but in this collection also there's a lot of oral history and context about the song. A lot of it is in Yiddish, so it's very big and a little bit a little bit more difficult to navigate, but I really encourage you to go take a look. And this is the also the link to the Ruth Urban.
Fantastic. This is very cool.
Okay.
I love this website.